Well, let me just start with, how did you know Tamala prior to this party?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you known her?
Probably since the boys were in either third or fourth grade.
So
The boys being my son and both her boys. They played football together. So basically, since she moved to Atlanta
Okay, how long ago
area,
was that?
I would say that was they're 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay. And you just know her from the boys playing together?
The boys playing together. We knew Tamala and Lee as well through sports, and then Stacey, my wife, knew her through school as well as through sports. Mainly football, but they also played basketball together.
Okay. Did you guys hang out together outside of like the kids and school functions?
Yeah, more so, towards the end, I guess. We did hang out more frequently. At the beginning, it was kind of just a friendly relationship, but it wasn't like we hung out. We started kind of hanging out with both Lee and Tam more in the last 6 months before she passed away.
Is there a reason that you guys kind of got closer, or was it just from seeing each other all the time that just kind of...
Just more interaction with them, and Stacey and Tam had gotten closer. The boys had gotten closer just over time. My son still talks to at least one of her boys.
Okay.
Playing video games and stuff together, but our son had been over at their house, their kids had been over at our house.
Okay.
It was just friendly.
And just to kind of get an idea of y'all's relationship with them, what kind of stuff did you guys do together?
So like even a couple nights before November 4th or 5th, I don't remember exactly what day it was, but we had a Halloween get together. All the kids went and trick-or-treated together, just hung out and had some drinks and adult time and let the kids, play together and do their thing.
Was that at their house, your house?
That was actually at Sarah and Jeremy Dinsmore's house.
Okay.
I think that was, it would have been, I guess, five days before the 31st.
Okay.
And that was Lee and Tamala, and then there was a couple other families there as well at the Dinsmores.
Okay. Would you say you spent more time with Lee or with Tamala, or was it kind of all four of you together?
I wouldn't even say it was really like the four of us hung out together. Tamala had hung out with Stacey and I on a couple occasions. Like we went to dinner once, or Stacey would hang out with Tamala and they came back to our house, I think, once. But we had hung out with Lee, like in groups, as far as with other families and stuff like that.
Okay.
And of course hanging out, at the football games and stuff like that. So it was.
So Tamala probably had some more one-on-one time with Stacey, but you had more like group functions
exactly.
with people. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of relationship did Tam and Stacey have? Did you ever see them fighting or not getting along? Or
No.
Okay. So you never saw them have any kind of disagreement that
No.
you saw?
No.
Okay. Did Stacey ever say anything that they ever had any issues with Tam, or anybody that she knew had issues with Tam?
No. Honestly, I didn't know anybody that would have had any issues with Tam whatsoever.
pretty easy to get along with.
She was the type of person who could get along with anybody. You know, vibrant and friendly and just very down to earth and just overall friendly to everybody, nice to everybody. I couldn't say a bad thing about her, to be honest with you.
I gotcha. How'd she get along with Lee when you guys were around him?
I mean, you could definitely tell that they loved and cared about each other.
Mm-hmm.
She was definitely a good mom, but you could tell that she was the glue that held the house together, so to speak. She was a strong lady. She was a good mom to all of her kids, and I think she was probably, good to Lee as well. I'm sure they had disagreements just like any couple does, but
Right. Did you ever see them fighting or anything like that, or having any kind of disagreements?
I mean, I don't know that I would call it fighting. Maybe like disagreements are just kind of normal husband and wife bickering or something like that, but
Right.
nothing, no like blowouts or anything like that. No.
So just normal disagreements when you live with somebody and
Right. Or when you have kids that are, I mean,
Yeah.
they had 4 or 5 kids, I believe. I think it was
Yeah,
5 kids that they had.
Yeah.
And I mean, just normal everyday life, they go through stuff.
Yeah, which who doesn't? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Just kind of tell me about that night. About what time did you get to Jean's house?
I don't remember everything exactly because it has been a year and a half.
Yeah, no, and I understand that. And that, let me preface a couple of things real quick before we get into that night.
Sure.
If you don't remember the answer, you don't remember what happened, tell me you don't remember.
Okay.
I'm not going to see it as lying or you covering up.
Right.
I know it has been some time.
Yes.
And I'd rather you just tell me you don't remember than to make something up.
Okay.
And then when it comes to drugs, alcohol, anything like that I ask you,
Right.
we're not here to either judge people or to even look at charging people with. I mean,
Right.
if you guys were snorting lines of coke off the table all night, I don't care.
Right.
But I need to know because we need to know the
Sure.
truth. We need to know what's going on at the party, what Tam was doing, that kind of stuff, what everybody was doing that you remember.
Right.
And if people lie about that stuff, then we have to think, okay, well, what else are we lying
Sure.
about? So I just want to preface that because I don't want people to be scared about their reputations and all that stuff because we're focused on what happened to Tam that
Sure.
night. So that's
Absolutely.
Before we get into that, I just want to make it clear, like we know there's some stuff going on, and that's why we would kind of I want to preface all that before we even get
Right.
there. So,
Sure.
So about what time do you think you guys got there?
So Stacy went before,
Okay.
and then I went separately.
All right.
I don't remember exactly what time that she was there, but I did go later. I want to say it was maybe around 8 or 8:30. I don't
Okay.
remember exactly.
That's fine.
My sister-in-law was having a get-together at our house with some of her girlfriends because she was pregnant, and I'm not sure if it was a gender reveal party or like a baby shower or something like that. But she was having some sort of get-together at our house.
Okay. So you stayed at home longer because of that, and then came.
Well, they were kind of doing their thing, and it wasn't planned that I was going to go. It was kind of Stacy called and said, Jose's going to come over if you want to come over and hang out with him and watch the game.
Okay.
Jean's boyfriend, Jose.
So basically, she called and said you can come hang out with Jose if you'd rather do that than
Exactly.
stay at home. Okay. How well do you guys know Jean and Jose?
Jose not very well. Jean pretty well. Again, she probably moved to this area maybe a year, 2 years prior to Tam. So when our boys were probably in 2nd grade, which would have been 7 years ago.
Okay.
Both we were friends with Jean and her ex-husband Matt, and know Jean pretty well, very well.
You know her from your boys playing ball together also?
Yeah, playing ball together and baseball and football and
all kinds of different sports.
I mean, get-togethers, and our families interacted with each other, and our girls cheer together, and so there's a lot of crossover between the two families,
Right.
even after her and her husband split.
How long have you guys known Jose?
Since since him and Jean started dating, we met Jose.
About how long ago do you think that was?
I don't really know how long that they dated.
Okay.
Maybe a year, maybe less than a year. I'm not positive.
Okay, but you guys had hung out with the two of them
Yeah.
prior to this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say quite a few times before that night.
Okay. So wouldn't be out of the normal for you to come over and hang out with him
No.
while they're having their girls' night?
Not at
Okay.
all.
When you got there, do you know who all was at the house when you arrived?
I mean, obviously, Stacy was, John was. I'm pretty sure that Jean's aunt was. I think Sarah, Cockerham, and Nicole were. And I'm not 100% certain on the rest. I would say probably Bridget and maybe Jen, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Was Jose already there when you got there?
I believe he was, yes.
And what did you do when you got there?
For the first part of the party, Jose and I kind of hung out and had some drinks in the basement and just hung out and watched football.
So it's just the two of you in the basement?
Yeah.
Okay. What were you drinking? Do you remember?
I was probably drinking Crown and Coke.
Okay.
I don't know what he was drinking.
Do you remember how many you had?
All night. Realistically, all night, maybe 4.
Okay. And you don't remember what Jose was drinking?
I don't.
Okay. Did you, and this is just a question, it's not a were you drunk question, but did you feel intoxicated to the point where you didn't know what you were doing, anything like that?
No. I didn't feel comfortable driving home, but I probably could have, but I didn't want to.
Good choice. I mean, maybe you don't feel that way at this point, but it. Never good
honestly,
idea to drink
Nicole
and drive,
and
so
right, and then Nicole and Sarah went home safely, and
they're still wrapped up in it.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Jen's husband wasn't even there, and
Sorry.
yeah, that's fine. Came in the next morning just to pick Jen up, and he's wrapped up in it too. I mean,
Yeah. Did Jose seem intoxicated to you
No.
that night?
honestly, neither Jose nor myself were big drinkers.
Okay.
I drink maybe one time a month socially. I'll have a couple of drinks, but I don't drink a whole lot.
And you haven't seen Jose drink much either?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't even know that I've seen him drunk.
Okay.
And probably hung out with Jose 15, 20 times maybe.
All right, so you guys were down there for about half the night and then you came upstairs.
We stayed down there until about halftime or so. I don't remember what game we were watching at the time. we came up and the girls sang happy birthday. I think I was the one who actually filmed it, them singing happy birthday. Kind of hung out a little bit up there for a little while, and then we went back downstairs for a little while, watched some more football, and then we kind of made our way upstairs later in the evening.
So you guys stayed upstairs for a little while and then went back down?
Yeah.
Okay. Just hanging out with everybody. I mean, what was everybody doing? Just
I mean, everybody was just kind of talking and mingling and having conversation.
Okay. Did you see any kind of, was everybody getting along at the time that you guys were up there? Did you see anybody like off sitting by themselves where they seemed, like things weren't good, or did everybody seem to be?
No, I mean, I think Bridget was working on her computer doing some work stuff, but she wasn't separated. She was included in the group. She was just kind of doing whatever she was working on.
Okay. So everybody seemed to be having a good time while you guys were upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you having to come upstairs to make your drinks, or did you guys have your stuff downstairs?
I think we came upstairs maybe 2 times, and that was probably after halftime, and made another drink. Or maybe made another one at halftime. Not sure on that.
Okay. So you came upstairs maybe twice to make drinks, is what?
After halftime, probably.
Okay.
So, yeah.
When you were upstairs, did you see anybody, was anybody smoking when you were up there that you know of? Were you ever out on that back balcony?
I was on the back balcony.
Was that during halftime, or was that one of the other times that you came up? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I was out there. I think Jean or Stacy had asked me to change out the propane tank on the little outdoor fireplace that Jean had out there. I changed it out, and they were both empty, so we couldn't get it to work. I did try and get that working for them, because they were sitting outside. Some of them were outside smoking. Some of them were just hanging out.
Do you remember where you left the empty propane tank? They were both empty, right? Where you were left?
They were both empty, but the one that I changed out, I left obviously in there, and then the other one I set pretty much right where it was, next to the railing in the picture. Who
all, because you said some of them were out there smoking, who all was out there smoking that you remember when you were out there? Do you recall who was smoking?
I think maybe Marcy was. I'm not positive on that. I know Tam was. I'm not sure if Bridget was a smoker or not. I don't think she was. But other than that, I don't believe. I know Nicole's not, and I'm pretty certain Sarah's not as well.
But just your recollection of when you were out there, you said maybe Marcy, and Tam
Maybe
was.
Marcy, I know Tam was.
Okay. Were you aware that there was marijuana in the house at any point?
No.
So you didn't know that Tam smoked some marijuana out there?
I had heard that they did it, but it was only after the fact, and what I had heard was that Jean basically said that she couldn't do that.
And you say that they did it. Do you remember who you heard partook in the marijuana?
That I don't know.
Okay. So you don't know if anybody else smoked it besides Tam? I mean, we know Tam did just because of her autopsy, but do you know of anybody else that?
I mean, I think Stacy did, but I'm not positive on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else did.
Okay. You yourself didn't see anybody
No,
do it?
no.
Okay. And
I was not up there whenever they were doing any of that.
okay. And that's, we're trying to decipher between what, because this has been so long and you guys have talked.
Right.
So we're trying to decipher what you've heard and what you actually saw, so
Right.
that we can kind of, that's why if I'm trying to clarify stuff, that's why. Because
Yeah,
I want to
no,
make sure it's stuff that you've seen.
When I was up there, nobody was doing any of that.
Okay. Did anybody, when you were up there, did anybody seem intoxicated to you?
Jen was pretty intoxicated towards the end of the night.
Okay.
Tam seemed intoxicated, but not even as much as Jen did. Nobody was. Jen was she was pretty intoxicated, but nobody was really sloppy or crazy or anything like that.
What and just to kind of, what was Jen doing that made her seem intoxicated to you? I mean, was she slurring? Was she stumbling? I mean, anything?
Yes.
Both.
Yeah. And she was just, loud, boisterous. I mean, she was having a good time.
And what about Tam? Because you said she seemed intoxicated, but not as much as Jen. What made you feel like she was intoxicated?
I mean, I knew that she had drank quite a bit. She seemed like she was drunk, but not to the point of where she was stumbling around or anything like that.
Okay. Was she slurring at all that you remember?
I mean, I would say probably so, just in thinking back, but I don't know for sure.
Just put to the best of your memory.
To the best of my memory, I would say likely so.
Okay. And the reason, like, you and Stacy are kind of the best people for me to talk to, because you guys knew her outside of this
Right.
party where a lot of people didn't.
Right.
So, to know that she's this happy, bubbly person,
Mm-hmm.
to some people that may seem that she's intoxicated, but you guys know her normal personality. And so that's where I'm trying to kind of get a read on how she was that night from, out of everybody that knew her that night, you and Stacy.
I will say that she was, she definitely probably had she definitely had a higher tolerance than anybody else at the party.
Okay.
That, and she was good about maybe being discreet about how intoxicated she may have been. I don't know if that's really the proper way to say that, but
No, I get what you're saying. She's better at kind of hiding it in a way, like
in a
not
way,
just
yes.
obnoxiously drunk.
Right. No, I mean, she was. She liked to drink. She liked to party. She liked to have fun, and.
And as far as like knowing that she had a higher intolerance, is that from like hanging out with her previously
Yes.
and seeing her drink and seeing
Yeah.
how she handled herself? Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, her and Lee were not afraid to have fun.
And when you say they like to have fun, you mean just drinking or?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were both very laid back and very much in the partying and having a good time.
Do you know what she was drinking that night?
She was drinking a bottle of tequila.
Did you have any of it?
No,
Did you ever touch the tequila bottle that you remember?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. But what time do you think that so you guys came upstairs
Mhm.
at the end of the night, and I know everybody kind of retired to their bedrooms, but what time do you think you and Stacy went up to bed?
It was probably about 1:15, 1:30, somewhere in that area.
Who was still up at that time?
John and Jose, Nicole, and Sarah had left earlier, probably around 10:30 or 11, I guess. Jen and Marcy. Jen may have gone to bed. Marcy may have been up. I don't recall. John's aunt had gone to bed way earlier. And Paula, too.
Paula was still up.
Yeah, I think she got there late. Not late, but like 9:30 or 10 o'clock late.
So as far as you know that you remember were still up were Jean and Jose and Paula, possibly Marcy. Was Tam still up at the time?
Yeah.
Like I said, I know, as you know, we've read the Forsyth County case file, so some of the stuff I know, but we're working this as if we haven't read all that. I kind of want
Sure.
to start from the ground up. So that's why I'll
Yeah.
ask some questions that I may already know the answer to, and you probably know I know the answer to, but I just want to clarify.
That's
so
fine.
that, okay. So when you guys went to bed, were all those people still up, or did they go to bed at the same time?
Jean and Jose and Paula were kind of heading to bed like right behind us or about the same time as us. I know Bridget was still there because I believe she left shortly after. And I think Jen had maybe already gone to bed or was going to bed.
So Jose and Jean and Paula all went up about the same time you guys did.
Because we all went upstairs.
Okay.
Stacy and I slept in Jean's daughter's room.
Okay.
I don't know. I think Paula slept in one of the other boys' rooms, and then Jean slept in her room, of course.
So when you guys went up, then the only people who all was still up? Do you remember when everybody went up to bed? And like I said, if you don't remember, or you don't know, that's fine. And I don't want you to tell me stuff that you've heard. So
Right. I mean, I'm not positive about Jen or Marcy. I know Bridget was up. But I do know that Paula and Jean and Jose all kind of went up about the same time as we did.
Okay.
Stacy and I may have actually gone up first or around in that time. Around that. I know it was around 1:15, 1:30, somewhere in there.
Okay. So you know Bridget and Tamala were still up. Not sure about Jen and Marcy.
Right.
Okay.
Because Stacy and Tam were saying goodnight, and she was disappointed because she wanted Stacy to stay down there with her and party, and I was kind of dragging her upstairs to go to bed.
Did you hear anything during the night that
No.
woke you up? Okay. Did you get up at all during the night? Go to the bathroom, get water, or anything like that?
No, I got up in the morning at probably like 10 minutes to 7 or so. I used the restroom. Laid back down for a minute. Didn't even go to sleep. And then I woke Stacy up maybe about 15, 20 minutes later.
Do you recall Stacy getting up at all during the night?
No.
And just kind of tell me about that morning when you guys got up.
So we got up and we were trying to get home. We got up, got our stuff together. It was still fairly early. We were trying to get home early, and I don't remember why, but we just had stuff to do. It was Sunday, and I remember we just got dressed and got our stuff. Stacy and I remember seeing Tam's boots and her phone sitting there, and Stacy made the comment that she was glad that Tam had stayed, because the night before, whenever we went to bed, she was kind of waffling on going home or not going home. She wanted to drive home. So we got I think we had a crock pot or some kitchen stuff or whatever, plates or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. But we grabbed that, and then we left and went home.
Okay.
That was probably just before 8.
Was anybody else up at that
No.
time?
We didn't see anybody else, and we didn't hear anybody up.
Did you notice if lights were on, the TV was on, if the back door was open?
No, the TV was off, and we didn't notice the door. And we went out the front door when we left.
Was the front door unlocked or locked when you guys left? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Actually, to be honest with you, I don't even know for sure that we went out the front door or whether we went out the garage door.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Do you have anything?
What car were y'all driving?
Stacy's car.
What kind of car is that?
She had an Audi A4 at the time.
What color is it?
White. She doesn't have it anymore.
As far as Tam goes, I mean, did you know her to be suicidal or anything like that?
No. I mean, Tam was the type of person who everybody liked her. She got along with everybody. You know, I think she was the type of person who had different groups of friends. You know, as far as having her PTA mom friends and then having her football mom friends, and then, you know, I think she had multiple different groups of friends. She just interacted with everybody, and she was very social. Lee was a little bit more, not as open, more closed off, but nice and just a little more quiet until he'd had some drinks or something, and then he'd open up a little bit more.
Right.
I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
As far as her smoking, do you remember anything about the cigarettes or a lighter or anything like that?
No, I've heard and been asked the question about the cigarettes in the ashtray, or I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I know that there was something involving those. They did ask me that before. I don't remember if they were in the ashtray or on the side of the ashtray. I don't remember anything from that night about it.
Okay. I just didn't know if you remembered any details as far as when she was out there smoking, if you remembered what kind of cigarette or what kind of lighter or what color lighter or anything like that.
I don't.
Okay.
It may be in my previous statement, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Do you take Xanax?
No.
Do you know if anybody there that night does?
I don't know.
Okay. And at the told your wife the same thing. There's some pointed questions I got to ask. I just asked
Sure.
that you be honest with me, and I know they're not fun questions.
Yep.
But did you see Tamala fall off the balcony and just maybe nobody wanted to say anything because they were scared to?
No.
Okay. Did you push Tamala off of the balcony?
No.
Did you have anything to knowingly cause Tamala's death?
No.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us that I will answer them if I can? Some of them, I'll just be honest, there's going to be questions I can't answer, but if I can, I will if you have questions.
No. None that I can think of right now. I may have some that pop up, but I don't.
I have a question. Do you still have the same cell phone that you had back then? Do you have the video still on your phone that you took?
No, and
Singing
it
Happy
wasn't on
Birthday?
my phone. I actually took
Okay.
it on, I think, Paula's phone. I think one or two of the videos I actually took on Paula's phone, and then some of the pictures I had taken for them while they were hanging out. The picture that's all over the place.
Okay. Do you still have the same cell phone that you had back then? Or did you get a new one?
Well, not the exact same cell phone. I'm not even sure if I have the same phone number because I did switch phone numbers somewhere around that time. It may have been a little bit before that.
Okay. Do you have any pictures, videos, anything like that from that night? Any text messages from Tamala?
No.
I know your wife still had some text messages. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
why I'm asking if you
I
had
don't
anything.
have any text messages from Tam or from maybe from Lee, but that would have been like that day or after or something like that.
Okay. So here's a question
Sure.
that we're going to ask, and I've got to talk to your wife because we weren't doing this at the time, but I'm going to need to ask her. Would you have a problem with us taking your cell phone and downloading it?
No.
Okay. And the way we can do that, do you have a consent form with you?
Yeah.
We can take it to our office and get it dumped. It'll take a day or two, honestly, for us to get it downloaded. I'm just being
Okay.
honest with you. It'll take at least a day because if I took it like first thing tomorrow morning, I can hopefully get it back to you tomorrow evening.
Okay, I can't go without it at work.
Okay, so
So I'd be happy to let you have it like over the weekend.
well, yeah, and then we can do that. That's an option too. We can take it, and I'll just have to go up on a weekend and download it. Or, if you have a day where you can bring it up to our office and wait for it.
Okay.
It may take her a couple hours to download. It just depends on how much. Basically, it depends on what's on your phone
Right.
as to how long it takes to download it.
Okay.
If you have a whole bunch of stuff on there, it'll take a little while. If you don't, we'd just be looking for text messages and photos. So that's
Yeah, no,
all we're
that's
going to be. And your wife's phone I'm going to have to take because I know she has the text messages, so her phone I'm going to need. I'll call her when we're done.
Okay.
But yeah, if you guys don't mind consenting to it, basically it can help y'all in the long run because it just, it can help
Sure.
clear y'all's names. When we can get search warrants if we need to, but obviously it's quicker and easier off consent if
Yeah.
you guys are okay with it. I ask that you don't delete anything because if we download it, we're going to be able to tell that you deleted stuff. So
Sure.
that's the one thing that I'm going to ask. We can get it from you when it's convenient for you,
Okay.
but just please don't delete anything because that's just going to make it harder on everybody.
Yeah, no.
So if that's all right. All right, well, you have my number. If there's anything that, I told Stacy the same thing. When we start stirring this back up, you might remember things. If you think of something, don't hesitate to call me, and
Okay.
we'll document it. We're hoping to have this. There's still a few of the girls that were there that night we're still trying to get in contact with.
Right.
And some stuff that we're just doing with the lab and whatnot. So it's going to take probably a month or two before we're done with it, but we're trying to get it done as quickly as possible for you guys.
Okay.
All right.